In the vast marble mansion overlooking the quiet city, where chandeliers glittered like frozen constellations and silence echoed louder than laughter, lived Adrian Blackwood, a self-made millionaire whose name commanded respect in boardrooms and fear in competitors, yet whose heart was slowly breaking behind closed doors, because his newborn twins, his miracle children born after years of loss, prayers, and doctors' grim shakes of the head, had refused to eat since the day their mother died in childbirth, a tragedy that turned wealth meaningless and time cruel. And despite the best pediatricians flown in from across the world, despite golden cribs, imported formula, private nurses, and machines that beeped like hope itself, the babies cried weakly, turning their tiny faces away from every bottle, their weight dropping, their breaths shallow, and every failed feeding carved another wound into Adrian's soul as he stood powerless, a king unable to save his heirs, until the staff began whispering fears of the unthinkable. And that was when Elena arrived, a quiet maid with tired eyes and gentle hands, hired not for miracles but for cleaning, a woman whose life had hardened her with grief after losing her own child years before, a pain she carried like a scar beneath her uniform. And on her first day she noticed what no doctor had seen, not the charts or numbers, but the rhythm of the twins' cries, the way they stiffened at unfamiliar arms, the way their tiny fingers searched for warmth rather than food. And when she softly asked if she could try, the head nurse laughed under her breath and Adrian nearly dismissed her, but desperation humbles even the proudest men, and with a nod heavy with doubt he allowed it, watching from the doorway as Elena sat down, pulled the twins close, hummed a broken lullaby in a voice worn by loss yet filled with love, holding them not like patients but like children who needed safety before nourishment, letting them feel a heartbeat, a presence. And when she warmed the milk not just to temperature but to comfort, rubbing a drop between her fingers before touching their lips, the miracle happened slowly, quietly, without drama. The first twin latched on, hesitant, then steady, the second followed, and for the first time in days the room filled not with alarms or cries but with the soft sound of swallowing, and Adrian's knees nearly gave way as tears blurred his vision, because it wasn't the milk that saved them but the human connection no machine could replicate. And from that moment everything changed. Elena became their constant, feeding them, singing to them, rocking them through nightmares, while Adrian watched, learning painfully that success had taught him to solve problems with money, not presence. And as weeks passed the twins grew stronger, their cheeks fuller, their cries turning into coos, and the mansion that once felt like a tomb slowly warmed with life. Yet guilt haunted Adrian as he realized how close he had come to losing them by trusting systems over souls. And one night, unable to sleep, he confronted Elena, asking why she cared so deeply, and with trembling honesty she told him about her own child, how she had once stood helpless as doctors tried and failed, how love was the only thing her baby recognized in the end, and how she saw the same fear in his twins, not hunger but abandonment. And Adrian, the man who had faced hostile takeovers without flinching, broke down completely, understanding that the maid he had barely noticed carried a wisdom forged in pain greater than any degree. And so he did what shocked everyone. He tore up her contract, not to fire her but to rewrite it, offering her respect, security, and a place in the family, not as staff but as someone essential. And under her guidance he learned to hold his children without fear, to feed them slowly, to listen before acting. And the twins thrived not because they were rich, but because they were loved. And as the years went on, the story of the twins who refused to eat became a quiet legend inside the Blackwood home, a reminder that sometimes the smallest hands bring the greatest healing, that compassion cannot be bought, and that miracles often arrive disguised as ordinary people. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that humanity still matters in a world obsessed with power, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every story you support helps us share more moments of hope, love, and truth that deserve to be told.